Welcome to the Treasury Talk podcast, dedicated to demystifying public school finance in the state of Ohio. Before we dive into today's topic, we always start by grounding our conversation in the district's purpose by reading the district mission. The mission of the Kettering City Schools, in partnership with the family and community, is to guarantee a superior educational experience for all students by providing a positive and innovative learning environment while responsibly utilizing our resources. I'm your host, Justin Blevins, the Treasurer and Chief Financial Officer for Kettering City School District. My primary role is to ensure the responsible management of every taxpayer dollar to support our district mission. This podcast series is designed to peel back the layers of school funding, budgeting, and financial planning, giving you, our community stakeholders, transparent access to where your money goes and how those funds directly support the goals and operations of our district, featuring guests who impact these decisions. Today we're focusing on the Master Facilities Plan and upcoming bond issue. In previous episodes, we discussed the daily costs of maintenance and the history of our buildings. Today we're looking specifically at the bond the Board of Education has placed on the ballot for consideration this May. Joining me to discuss the facts of this project is Mr. Toby Henderson, a member of our Board of Education. Toby, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Justin. Happy to be here.
For our listeners, Mr. Henderson is here to help walk us through the specific details of the facilities assessment and the scope of the project currently before voters. Toby, would you like to give a brief summary of your service to the district?
Sure. I think it's important for folks to know that I am the proud father of 3 Firebirds. My oldest daughter, Addison, graduated in 2024. My middle daughter, Avery, will graduate in May of 2026. So we have graduation upcoming. And then my youngest daughter, Ansley, will be a 2028 grad. She's currently a sophomore. I joined the board in 2018. I filled a term for an individual who was elected but never took office. And subsequent to that, I've been elected to the Board of Education on 3 separate occasions. I've had the pleasure of serving as the board's vice president for a couple of years, also as the board's president for a couple of years, and so I'm currently a board member, certainly heavily involved in everything that the district has to face on a regular basis.
Great. I appreciate you providing that background. Toby, let's start with the foundation of this plan. Before the board made any decisions about new construction, the district underwent a comprehensive assessment by the Ohio Facilities Construction Commission, or what we've called OFCC for short. Can you explain who the OFCC is and what their role is in Ohio school construction?
Certainly. The OFCC is a state agency responsible for guiding capital projects for public schools. The OFCC administers state funding and works with districts to assess the physical condition of school buildings. Essentially, what the OFCC does is it uses tax dollars collected at the state level to partner with local districts, helping to fund construction projects so the entire burden does not fall on local property taxpayers.
Great. Yeah, and as we put some of the numbers out that we've got from the OFCC, that's been a question that I've received here in the office. So the OFCC conducted a rigorous assessment of our facilities. What were the factual findings of that report regarding the condition of Kettering schools?
The OFCC's assessment was quite extensive. Their engineering and architectural teams evaluated every building in the district. Their final report determined that all of our educational facilities, with the exception of Greenmont Elementary, that it would be more cost effective to replace the buildings rather than attempt to renovate them. The data showed that the cost to bring the existing structures up to current standards would exceed the cost to benefit ratio the state allows for renovation.
And based on those findings, the district has the opportunity to enter into a partnership with the OFCC. Can you explain the financial details of what that partnership looks like?
Sure. This is a key component of this project. If the district moves forward with a qualifying project, the OFCC has agreed to co-fund the work. And specifically, the state would cover 43% of the co-funded project costs. What this means is that for every dollar spent on the co-funded portion of the master plan, the local taxpayers would be responsible for 57 cents, while the state will pick up the remaining 43 cents.
And moving into the specific measure the voters will see on the ballot this May, the board has decided to place a bond levy issue on the ballot in the amount of $222 million. Can you detail exactly what this funding is designated to build?
I'd be happy to. This bond issue addresses Phase 1 of the district's master facilities plan. There are three primary components to this phase. The first phase is construction of a new middle school. Our current middle schools have a combined age of 138 years, so we're in desperate need of new middle schools. The second primary component of Phase 1 is significant updates to Fairmont High School, including the construction of a new academic wing. And the third component of Phase 1 is what we refer to as warm, safe, and dry. This applies to all elementary schools. It involves addressing critical systems such as HVAC, roofing, and security to ensure those buildings remain functional and safe while future phases are considered.
And it's important to clarify for our listeners that as a public entity, the district and the board can only provide the facts. So we can't advocate for how residents should vote. And Toby, regarding the warm, safe, and dry component for the elementary schools, can you define what that covers in a facilities context?
Sure. Warm, safe, dry is an industry term that focuses on the building envelope and mechanicals. It is strictly limited to capital needs, repairing or replacing roofs to prevent leaks, upgrading heating and cooling systems to ensure consistent temperatures, and securing entryways. It does not include new classroom construction for the elementary schools in this specific phase. It is focused on extending the useful life of the current buildings.
Thank you for that detailed breakdown. It is critical that our community understands exactly what is and what is not included in the Phase 1 proposal. This plan didn't just appear overnight. We've had a lot of meetings surrounding this. Can you describe the factual process the board used to arrive at the specific Phase 1 recommendation?
Sure. The administrative team, under the direction of the board, developed a steering committee composed of staff members, board members, community members, and students to review the findings of the OFCC assessment and to provide input on the best path forward for the district. After it was determined the district would pursue a potential partnership with the state, the district contracted with an architect to get input on costs and help in the development of the master facilities plan. This decision to pursue a phased approach rather than doing everything at once was a direct result of analyzing the financial capacity of the community. Since rolling out the plan, there have been several community forums to update the community and to receive feedback.
Before we wrap up, I want to dedicate a few moments to what we call our Finance Fundamentals Check-In. Understanding these core data points is essential for every stakeholder in our district. First, let's look at the funding ratio. The district's general fund budget relies on a mix of local property taxes and state aid. Local funding made up approximately 71% of total revenue in fiscal year 2025. This comes primarily from local property tax levies. State funding made up approximately 24% of total revenue in fiscal year 2025. This comes primarily through the state foundation formula. Total revenues for fiscal year 2025 general fund were just under $134 million. Second, our annual budget. Our general fund operating budget for fiscal year 2025 was just over $122 million. Of that total, 84% went toward people, the salaries and benefits of everyone who works in the district. Another 11% covered purchase services, which are things we have to pay outside companies or organizations for, like utilities or specialized student services. The remaining 5% went toward other everyday needs such as classroom supplies and materials. Third, the financial planning tool. Every public school district in Ohio is required to file a financial forecast. This isn't just a budget, it's a look ahead that details our revenue projections and expenditure assumptions for the next several years. This tool is fundamental to proactive financial management, ensuring the district avoids deficit spending and maintaining public accountability. We use it to project future stability and service needs, which directly informs the board's decisions on future funding requests. This document is publicly available on our website as well as on the Department of Education's site. Toby, thank you again for sharing the factual details regarding the Master Facilities Plan and the OFCC assessment. What is one final takeaway or action item you would recommend to our stakeholders as they engage with the district's financial information?
Justin, I believe that the district and our community are at a crossroads with respect to our facilities. Our students, teachers, staff deserve high quality, safe and secure, modernized facilities that foster learning in the 21st century. This is what our community expects of its school district. To deliver on these expectations, I think we have two choices. The first is the opportunity to partner with the OFCC, which would mean that the OFCC would contribute roughly $159 million to new school construction. The second option we have is to pass on this partnership with the OFCC, which will leave the responsibility of repairing and maintaining our existing buildings. That would be 100% the responsibility of Kettering taxpayers to the tune of approximately $350 million. I would encourage anyone who is interested in information on these options and the current status of our facilities to visit the school's website at ketteringschools.org. I think there's a wealth of information on the website that would allow voters to make the decision that they think is best for our community.
Excellent. To our listeners, we hope this episode has provided valuable insight into school finance. Remember that transparency is a core pillar of the Treasurer's Office, and we encourage you to visit the district website at www.ketteringschools.org for the latest financial forecasts, audit reports, and budget details. Join us next time on Treasury Talk. Thank you for listening, and go Birds.
This podcast is produced by the Kettering City School District for informational and educational purposes only. The views and opinions expressed by guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the official position of the Board of Education or the district. Any discussion of Ohio public school funding or district finances is general in nature. It should not be considered legal, financial, or tax advice. Listeners should consult official district communications or appropriate professionals for specific guidance. Information shared in this episode is accurate as of the date of the recording. Please note that details may change due to updates in law, policy, or guidance from the state of Ohio, including the Ohio Department of Education and Workforce. This podcast does not advocate for or against any ballot issue or candidate. This episode was recorded and produced by students in the interactive media program at the Kettering Fairmont Career Technology Center as part of their educational coursework. As a public school district, please be aware that certain communications may be subject to Ohio public record laws. Copyright 2026, Kettering City School District, all rights reserved.